So, Harri,
Hello.
could you list for me what you've been called too much of?
Yes. So I have been called so many things, but I've been called too loud, too bossy, too sensitive, too fat, too tall. I think those are probably like the main ones that as if you need like a longer list.
And with each of these things, can you tell us some anecdotes about when you were called these, the context, and how it made you feel, whether you changed in any way or whether, like how it affected you later on?
So I think that some of the things I was called overtly called out on these things. So at home, too loud, and, at school, too loud, too bossy. And then the other things, like too tall, too fat, are often things that I would tell myself. That, although not too fat, but I would, called out by boys as being, fat at school and that kind of thing, which then internalised as being too big, too tall. And I carried a lot around these stories for a long time. And too sensitive was one that was used against me in a kind of friend breakup, when I like a really kind of like really heartbreaking friend breakup. The person in question used too sensitive as the main reason for her not wanting to be my friend, that she'd gone to university and she'd met all these other people and that she could be really blunt and direct with them, and everything with me had to be served with a cup of tea and a hug. And I'll never forget that line. Yeah. Cup of tea and a hug. It was the exact, and therefore inferring that being too sensitive was an issue. And what I've realised over the years and going through my 20s is, now I'm in my 30s, is actually being sensitive in particular is such a wonderful strength. I'm now a coach, and being empathetic and sensitive is why I can do my job. And I think, I am loud, and I can be assertive, and actually that's just part of my personality. And I feel very grateful that I've managed to really embody these kind of characteristics and kind of befriend them rather than use them against myself.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And that leads nicely on to how, if you take all the things that you've listed you've been called too much of, how are they your power? What do you love about them? How have they helped you? How have they helped other people?
Yeah. Such a good question. I think being an extrovert, being the fact that I am like a loud person, I can put myself out there, has given me so many opportunities. And, I've got friends who are introverted and have to really kind of push themselves to go and do things. And my mum always used to say I'm never backwards in coming forwards, and I think that's a great thing, that I can just jump in and do that kind of stuff. And as I mentioned before, being a sensitive person, I really see it as one of my strengths, that I can be empathetic and I can understand what people are going through. I really, I think it's a really beautiful thing. Anyone who thinks that they're a sensitive person, it's a good thing. Own it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And how about the other things in terms of?
In terms of the other things, so I used to really want to be petite, and I was always tall, and you always want what you always think the grass is always greener. And now I love being tall now. It's great. I can go to a gig and I can look over everyone's heads. It's it's great being tall. I own it. I think that getting older, one of the great things about getting older is that you can, with a bit of personal development and and loads of heaps of self-compassion, you can kind of turn the things that you used to hate into kind of the things that you actually really like about yourself. And so I think that can I swear? Fuck fuck anyone who says these things about you being too much. They're actually often the things that you can embrace the most.
Yeah, definitely. And if someone came to you and they were, say, in their early teens, and they said they've been called too big, too tall, too emotional, too loud, do you have any advice for them?
Oh God, I literally I wish I could, that is my younger self. I wish that I could go back and say, what would I say? say be kind to yourself, that actually we can be our own worst critic, and that anyone who says these things are often full of their own insecurities, and it's easy to label people as too much, too big, too tall, too anything, and that actually they're probably just masking their own insecurities. And to just be really, really kind to yourself, because there's no truth in these, you know? It's just, it's just bullshit. It's just other people labelling you often to mask their own insecurities. And what we need is just more self-compassion, you know, for ourselves. And, you know, compassion for other people perhaps, but mainly just compassion for yourself, and try not to internalize these things. I think people go through their whole lives with these, telling themselves these untruths, these negative thoughts that they just beat themselves up with all the time. And yeah, we just need to unpick these and really examine them, and often we'll find they're just untruths.
Yeah, that's great. And if you could change the world tomorrow, what would you change?
Wow,
If
what
not
a
everything.
big question. The patriarchy system, down with the patriarchy system. And if I could just make everybody just that much more empathetic and compassionate, then I think the world would be a much nicer place. But yeah, I'd also save the rainforest. I'd also, there's so many things to change. But I think if we could change some structures, some political, systemic structures, that's probably what I would do.
Yeah, sounds great. Amazing. And is there anything else you want to share, like verbally, in song, or in like poem or quote, or anything at all? Is there anything?
Well, I don't think I can burst into song. But as a body acceptance coach, the one thing that I have learnt is the power of self-compassion. And if I offer any advice to people, it would be to forgive yourself for all the negative things that you say about yourself, and that actually forgiveness, there's a forgiveness meditation that you can look up. It's so powerful. It's so powerful. It can make you cry. It makes me cry every time I do it.
Really?
Yeah, and to just look into kind of the language that you use to yourself, because often we are our worst enemies and our biggest critics. And if we can just become more self-compassionate, then everything gets easier.
Yeah. Would you like to do the forgiveness meditation now, or
I
take a long time?
It's a long time.
Okay,
It's based on a Hawaiian ritual called Ho'oponopono, and it basically goes through seeing so you kind of use the words, I see you, I thank you because you thank yourself for the lesson that you have learnt, I forgive you for the wrongs that you've shown yourself, and I love you. And you go through this kind of cycle of I see you, I thank you, I forgive you, I love you. And if you do it, you can do it for other people as well, but to do it to yourself is just so powerful.
Wow.
So powerful. So yeah, just more self-compassion. Yeah, we're so mean to ourselves. And if we can just be kinder to ourselves, then then life just gets a lot easier.
Perfect. And do you want to say where people can find you as a body coach?
So, my name is Harri Rose. I'm a body acceptance coach. I specialise in unapologetic body acceptance, full title. And I am, Instagram is my jam. You can find me Harri, HARI_Rose_. And if you Google Harri Rose Health Coach, then my website will be there. But yeah, that would be great. Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much too.